Did you ever try pastels and you ended up with a colorful mess everywhere? Or struggled to make your highlights look natural? But what if I told you that working with pastels could be way easier, more vibrant, and much more fun than you think? Today I'm going to share 5 lessons I wish I knew before starting working with pastels. From why the texture of your paper matters to managing dust, creating realistic highlights, balancing planning and spontaneity, and why, once you start, it's nearly impossible to stop. At the end of this video, you are going to find out some tricks that are going to change completely the way you think about pastels. And the first one is the tooth of the paper is everything. One of the biggest lessons I wish I knew before starting with pastels is to know how important the paper is. Not all kind of papers work for pastel. For example, the regular printing paper is way too thin and it doesn't allow you to blend, to create layers. It just doesn't meet any requirements you need to work with pastels. Pastel paper has something called a tooth. And this is basically the texture that grabs and holds onto the pigment. If your paper doesn't have enough tooth, the pastel just lies around, smears, and refuses to layer properly. That's when you start feeling like you're fighting the medium instead of enjoying it. But when you switch to the right paper like sanded or textured paper, the experience is totally different and also more enjoyable. Suddenly, you can build up layer by layer, blend smoothly, and really play with color, light, and depth. It's one of those little details that makes a massive difference. Without the right paper, your pastel stick stops feeling like chalky and very hard, and it starts to feel like an extension of your hand instead of working against you. The colors are going to look richer, more vibrant, and more polished, and honestly, painting just becomes a lot more fun. The second lesson is that pastel dust gets everywhere. Here is something every pastel beginner underestimates. Pastel dust is real, and yes, it does get everywhere. On your hands, on your face, on your clothes, and even in places you don't even expect. And the bigger the piece, the more pastel pigment you use, which leads to even more dust. But a couple of simple tricks can make a huge difference. Working on an angle so the dust falls away instead of smudging your work keeps things cleaner. Wiping down your surface as you go helps too. If you are working on a bigger piece for a longer period, make sure to ventilate your space. That dust can build up very quickly. The truth is, the pastel dust is just a part of the whole experience. Once you accept it and stop fighting against it, you can finally start enjoying working with pastels, which is blending, layering, and just bringing your artwork to life. Of course, cleaning up is important, but it shouldn't be on the first place. The first place should be enjoying the creative process and just putting cleaning up on the second place. Just enjoy drawing, but also keep in mind to sometimes just clean up your drawing a bit and also the drawing area. But don't obsess about it because mistakes happen and you can't avoid it completely. It will happen for sure in the future that you are going to smudge your pastels and transfer the pigment onto your artwork, but the amazing thing of working with pastels is that they are very easy to clean. The third lesson is white isn't always the best highlight. When I first started working with pastels, I thought that the white pencil was the answer for every highlight. Bright spot, add white. Shine in the eye of an animal, add white. Fur or whiskers, add white. But I quickly learned that pure white can actually look harsh, flat, and sometimes even unnatural, especially if you are trying to capture something delicate like soft fur, flower petals, or gentle lighting. What makes a highlight feel real is often a hint of color. Soft lemon yellows, pale pinks, or even cool blues can create a glow that feels much more natural and luminous. The trick is to slow down and really observe your subject. Look closely at how the light actually behaves. You'll almost always find subtle color shifts where you thought it was just white. By layering these gentle hints, you can give your highlight life and depth instead of that stark, chalky look. It's a small shift in thinking, but it's one of those things that are going to take your pastel painting to the next level. Lesson number 4 is pastel is part spontaneity, but part planning also. Pastels are a bit of a balancing act. They push you to juggle control, but also to juggle freedom at the same time. Having a plan matters. Things like your composition, value structure, and color choices give you a solid foundation to work from. But here's the magic. Some of the best moments in pastel painting happen when you stop overthinking and let the medium take over. A quick, confident stroke, an unexpected blend of colors, or even a little oops can end up being the most beautiful part of your piece. The trick is learning to trust that process. Plan enough to guide yourself, but always leave room for happy accidents. That's where pastels really shine. They thrive on experimentation, bold layering, and a bit of unpredictability. The more you let yourself play, the more life, texture, and energy you'll discover in your work. And that's something that no amount of careful planning can recreate. Lesson number 5. Pastel is addictive. Once you dive into pastels, it's very hard to stop. And I say that from my own experience. There's something incredibly satisfying about putting down pure, vibrant pigment right onto the surface and instantly seeing it come alive. The nature of pastels, blending, layering colors, building textures, makes the whole process feel direct and engaging, almost like sculpting with color. And the best part, it's immediate. Unlike paints that need time to dry, pastels give you instant feedback. You lay down a stroke and you see the result right away. That immediacy makes it easy to get lost in the process. Hours can pass by before you even realize it, and it happens to me all the time. When I say that it's addictive, I mean it in the best way possible, without any negative connotations. Once you feel that rush with working with pure colors, it's almost impossible not to come back for more. Pastels just have a way of pulling you in, and once they do, you are completely hooked and there's no way back, in a good way. And these are my 5 lessons every beginner pastel artist should know. I really hope this video is going to help you save time, avoid frustrations, and get even more enjoyment out of this amazing medium. If you learned something new and you liked this video, please help me with a subscribe and also a like on this video. I would really appreciate it. I would love to hear from you, so please let me know in the comments below what is one thing you wish you knew when you started working with pastels. Just drop it in the comments below and I'm looking forward to read it. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next videos as well.